My favorite type of season is upon us. I could not just hold my excitement to talk about fall things that I am already looking forward to. Fashion is one of them, but just the overall vibe is where it's at. Give me the cold mornings, give me candlelights, like I am ready for it. As you can probably tell in this living room, I just feel like it gives totally fall vibes. Do I have a pumpkin up there? Yes, I do. This is just a collective of trends that I am just seeing around, but also kind of predictions, kind of the things I like. When I do these trends, I like to talk about trends that I'm specifically really interested in. A lot of the times these trends are because I am like wanting to dive into them, but also things that I feel like slowly are just coming in waves, and I want to talk about them. I'm really excited to get into it, so let's do it. I feel like I need to talk about this specific trend first, even though it's maybe something that we have been seeing in the last spring and summer, but that is just the whole boho revival. I believe I even talked about this in previous fall trends. It's kind of like this boho vibe, but back then I called it like this whimsy boho goth, and we definitely see it pop off in the springtime. We saw a lot of more like flowy top, kind of chiffon style tops with a big neck ties, or even just looser tunics. And of course, I think that's just going to continue, but we are now going to be having it in different materials. So for me, I'm kind of very into just velvet in general, which I am going to talk about it. And I mean, velvet for me is always kind of like a fall and winter material in general. I also like it in these like boho kind of silhouettes. I think it's just, yeah, we're going to see more velvet, more patchwork in these materials. And I kind of want to say that even the piece that I'm wearing is definitely kind of the vibe. I have this dress. It is essentially a tie-dye style. I don't know, it's in different colors, but it's in velvet. It also has this interesting pattern, and at the end there's a fringe. This in itself for me is what I'm interested in. And this also includes embellishments. So I've been seeing a lot of these pieces. Think of it kind of like sequins, but it doesn't have to be specific sequins. Maybe embellishments in a specific pattern, even in little things like just being at the wrist of a sleeve or on the lining at the top of a top, embellishments all over a t-shirt. I think it's all kind of coincides underneath this whole like boho 2010s revival that we have been seeing, but now we're shifting it with different materials, different like even color tones. Really excited about this because I feel as someone who is just diving into more like prints and patterns, this is a really fun trend for me. I grew up in the 2015s. Even my initial style always kind of leaned more boho, and so I kind of feel I am in a way rediscovering that part of myself again. I'm gonna have a lot of different shoes and accessories because I think when it comes to accessories, that is usually one thing that most people tend to participate in. I say if you're gonna participate in a trend, I think it's usually better to start with an accessory to then fully dive in if you want to get that in, you know, a clothing item piece. This accessory is mules or even just clogs in general. I think there's two different types. There's platform clogs, which I have been seeing a lot lately, not only in just online, but in IRL. Was in Paris during the springtime, which I feel like a clog is the perfect shoe for the spring and fall because it kind of mimics a boot, but it's a slide in a way. And it's also just giving very 90s. I feel like especially the platform clog during that time, the 90s was all about like chunky boots, and it kind of reminds me of that like the mud style boots. And I also think clogs in the sense of like even just a classic style where it's just square toe and it has like a regular heel. Specifically, I'm talking about these. Once I saw these on my Pinterest, I was like, I would have loved to thrift this because it has essentially things that I like, which is that they're red and it has grommets, which is another thing that I'm interested in because I feel like we are kind of moving away the whole money aesthetic or the old money. Like, yeah, we understand that basics are sure, but I think there's a way of having basics that are a little bit different in silhouette or the little embellishments that are on it, or even having a colorway to it, especially when you're styling them with like flare pants or even like a long maxi. Like in the early 2000s, obviously like we stuck to super skinny jean all the way to 2015. I think now we're like completely shifting that, and I think people are just really wearing the jean styles they love. I mean, that's the fun part. I feel like their specific jeans go with different kind of tops, you know. I'm gonna be talking about color colors, but they're kind of very specific. Suede is a material that in the fall we see it all the time, especially last year, but I am talking about green suede specifically. We have been seeing a lot of the brown suede, like a tan or even a dark chocolate brown, but especially when it comes to having a little bit of a statement, I think green suede is a nice kind of element, because green, I feel like sometimes is still considered like a neutral color, but it's also can be bold. I think this is going to be popular because I have been seeing so much discourse on the Coach Haversack bag. This specific bag, the silhouette of it, and the fact that it has multiple pockets. The side has like a little coin pocket, which is very interesting. But I think the reason why people really like this bag and why they're going for some of them $2,000. They also came in different colors. They came in like this kind of turquoise, teal. They came in like a dark brown, a green suede, and I think the green suede one is the one that is sought after more. And there's also a pink one, and I think people are just really interested in having like a statement bag. I do see that this is going to be a very popular color in this specific material for sure. I swear I'm not saying this because I'm wearing this specific kind of color, but yellow velvet, and I'm talking more of the golden yellow hues. We saw such a huge push for the butter yellow, and I think people are still kind of interested in yellow, but now we're gonna move towards it for more of a like golden. It's only natural because I'm even thinking in myself, like even with my interiors, these pillows are literally yellow gold velvet pillows, and I just feel like this kind of shifted yellow works in so many different skin tones, giving more of like that darker like fall and winter colorway. This color also really goes well with the whole boho kind of style that I was talking about. For me, the velvet and the golden yellow velvet also is giving like Renaissance. Like the boho and the Renaissance can be in a similar cohort, kind of like the idea of having a pop of color in velvet. Usually I feel like we see just black velvet. So this next trend is similar to what I was just talking about under like the Renaissance kind of vibe, and that is like these bustier, like Bardot style tops. I don't know if there's a specific name for it, but this is kind of what I'm naming it myself. I'll insert photos. You can see kind of my reference. Kind of give a little bit more pirate. They're kind of giving what is Keira Knightley's character in Pirates of the Caribbean, giving like that. Like they're very fitted, and they can be like a fitted sleeve or even have like a flowy sleeve too. And I think this style top is very interesting because yes, you can wear it just kind of simplistic and be a little bit more sexy, but I also think it's really great for layering. Like I can imagine like having this very low bustier top and maybe putting like a lacy mock neck underneath. Still feel like it fits under that Renaissance era that we're talking about. Can definitely see this style tops at a Renaissance fair. I think it'd be really good because this kind of top in itself can be a statement with just the silhouette. Now I want to talk about a pattern. I mean, you saw how cheetah print 2 years ago was really everywhere and still continue to be, which should, because animal print is always a pattern. It's always circling around every kind of fall video, or for me anyways, it's just stripes. That's one of my favorite patterns besides polka dots. Always am looking for a specific style in this. Previously for me, stripes that I was looking for was in pants. I wanted like these fun multicolored striped pants, which I do have too, I think. Actually last year I thrifted one of these in a velvet material. I'm really looking into like very horizontal striped black and white tops, or it can be in different colors, but I really like that the stripes are just a little bit more chunky, that it's 2 colors. Since it's a very easy pattern, there's so many different silhouettes you can create. I've seen them in a mock neck, long sleeve, off the shoulder, as a mini skirt, and I feel like in 2010s specifically, I remember like these black and white stripes being very prevalent, but I also think it's like a mix now. It doesn't have to be like this specific like black and white. It can be in variation of colors. This is a pattern that is very easy to style with a lot of different basics. I actually saw this dress and I'm really interested in getting it. It's by this brand called Lodi de Shop, y'all. You know me in the pronunciation, but I'm actually tempted in purchasing this dress. Let me know what you think. You know me, it takes me a while to purchase something directly, so I kind of like this specific dress, and I feel like this would look really nice in the fall time, adding some tights, adding like a trench coat or your regular coat. Just feel like it's a really good base to layer, and stripes and polka dots look so well. So if you already have polka dots, print mixing with stripes, it just goes hand in hand. I had to say it. Another accessory is the chokers, and I'm not talking the 90s chokers that were revamped in the 2010s. I'm talking about the chokers that are more like a pendant. They have like a thicker band, and this band typically is what? velvet. I feel like a lot of people are really into statement necklaces right now, and so many variety of different pendants, and then even just changing the pendant with a black velvet band, or it can even be a different velvet color, like the golden yellow that I talked about, or a green. Like, I just think it's gonna be so much fun, and it's still very, I feel like, accessible, and it also goes into what I was talking about, the Renaissance, like boho. They kind of go in conjunction, even layered. It doesn't just have to be that you're wearing just a choker in itself, but just layered with other jewelry too. And actually, this is something that I definitely want to do, so I'm definitely gonna be hitting up my Michaels. This one is a trend that I feel like I already kind of talked about, but not really went in extensively. The neck style tops, more specifically a little bit more intentionally, that it's very low cut V. It just kind of reminded me of like the Hollister tops, you like early 2000s. You had your Hollister top that you would lace with your lace cami underneath. I think Hollister just brought this specific style recently at their stores, and the Gen Zs are eating it up. But even for me, I have a lot of like pinned photos where it's like a specific very low V neck tops, because I think it just goes really well, especially when you're wearing all these beautiful jewelry tops where a little bit more cinched at the waist, but they have like this flowiness on the top, something that we definitely saw a lot in the early 2000s and hasn't been really popular. And I think a lot of these tops are silhouettes that I see in the thrift stores. This is not going to be a surprise for you, because I've talked about, even in my summer wish list, is that I really want some wedges. So I think naturally we're going to see like wedged knee-high boots. For me, they seem really practical. They are typically a very comfortable shoe to walk around in. This is a trend that we saw a lot in the early 2000s that is just going to come up, kind of similar to like the peep toe. I even talked about this in one of my thrift with me's not too long ago, that I feel like the peep toe is going to be the next 2010s shoe revival that is going to come in, because it's something that we haven't seen. And you know, people are always looking into bringing things that haven't been used in a long time. Peep toes are one of them. I feel like wedge boots are one of them, and I always see wedged boots on Poshmark. The Isabel Marant's like wedge sneakers coming in. So it just kind of seems like this whole full circle that we're going to see more wedged heels. I think we're naturally used to seeing like a regular heeled boot, and this just kind of plays with the silhouette a little bit different. And I just also feel like I've been seeing a lot of like interesting shoes lately, and they all tend to be like in a wedge kind of silhouette. So that's probably why I'm also thinking that in the fall we're going to be seeing this a lot more. Like even Jeffrey Campbell has come out with like these interesting wedged boots that I have saved right now. And I think for me, that's what I'm looking for. It's just having these little intricacies in pieces. Lastly, and this is more based on my experience, but wicker bags. And I think wicker bags in more of the French kind of style. Yeah, so this is pretty biased for me. This is a nice little bag all year round. I think we typically think of these bags more in the summer or spring, but they're very practical, and usually a lot of them are very durable. This style bag is very easy to wear more on every day, especially if you're someone who's always out and about. And I really like the juxtaposition of like this kind of wicker bag with like having, you know, a cashmere sweater or a velvet top. It's a bag that doesn't feel like it would work in the fall, and I kind of like that. And actually this past summer I had this similar style bag that kind of gave like it was a wicker bag, but it wasn't in that exact material. I wore that bag almost every single day. Like I had to stop myself from not going for that bag, because it was, first of all, just very practical the way it lays, and it was huge, so you can fit so much. And that's why I think it makes sense that a lot of these style bags, especially in Paris or France, or even just you see people wearing them going to the grocery store, because it's easy to just fit as many things in there and it still looks really cute. I am definitely thinking that wicker bags will be a little bit of a different style bag than the Coach haversack bag that we talked about earlier. It's one of those bags that it's very practical if you're one who needs always so much to put in a purse. Like even me, when I would use that bag, it's because it can work from different coffee shops. So I would my laptop, I'd bring other little gadgets with me, my camera. So there was just so much you can fit in these style bags. Those are my fall 2025 trends, or like trend predictions. So glad that I was able to express that with you, because I have been holding my tongue for a while wanting to talk about fall pieces that I am interested in. I am always looking forward forward to fall. I know it's really dumb to look forward to seasons, but there is something so different of the fall time, and I think it just has to be with the change of weather, coziness that it brings, and also just because there's so many holidays during the fall time that it's just one of the best times, I think. And let me know what other fall trends you're seeing or you're interested, or do you agree with any of these? I'm always curious to know. But thank you so much for hanging out and tuning in with me. And if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment, and share. It helps the girl to get out there so the algorithm knows that I exist. It would be really great. As always, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch my vids, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bisous. Bye.